Over in San Francisco, the 49ers face another offseason, fielding questions about their QB situation. You got Trey Lance coming off of surgery, Jimmy Garoppolo, who's going to be a free agent, and then Brock Purdy with a torn UCL in his throwing elbow. That injury happening in the Niners' loss to the Eagles in the NFC title game. Now, the Niners GM John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan taking to the podium just moments ago. Let's take a listen in.
Yeah, I think he's continuing to, get some different opinions, talk to different people, which I think is smart. In an instance like this, there's a lot of smart people out there. You want to make sure you're thorough. He's continuing to go through that process. I think, the positive bit of news is that it seems to be consistent that the right approach is that one that, takes about that 6-month mark. Now, everybody will also say you never know until you get in there. Every surgeon will tell you that on every surgery. You always like getting in to see exactly. The MRI tells you a lot of the picture. So they're process, but we seem encouraged by the prognosis that's kind of where it's at.
You mean the internal brace one?
Correct.
If it is 6 months, that means that he'd probably be back in time for training camp. If that's the situation, are you content enough with Brock and Lance being the top two guys going into training camp, or would you be looking for a high-profile veteran?
No, we're content enough.
Are there comps on quarterbacks who have come back from this kind of surgery about how long it takes before they get fine motor skills back? Different passes. Yeah. With pitchers, it's they talk about curveball control and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know what the comp is.
That was the coolest thing for me to hear about. That once 3 months is over, they start the rehab of just building the arm back slowly, and by 6 months, it's built back. And that's when I started to ask questions. So does that mean ease them in and stuff like that, like you would think of ACLs and things like that? And they said no. The build-up's been from 3 to 6, and at 6 months, he is the same dude in full go. So that was the most encouraging part that I heard.
Trey said that he expects to be medically cleared in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So is that what you're expecting, that he'll be full go come OTAs, or will you be easing him in?
It sounds like he'll be pretty close around phase 1, phase 2. OTAs is the third phase, which I think that's 5 weeks after phase 1. So we'll see in phase 1. They're saying right around that time. So hopefully we'll be able to ease him in with drill work and things like that. And then by OTAs, he'll be able to go.
What's your mind right now as far as how you're going to approach the quarterback situation this offseason with Brock and his rehab and where Trey is? How do you expect to handle this leading into training camp?
I don't think there's much to handle. One guy can't go, and the other guy should be ready for OTAs. So OTAs haven't been that consistent over the last 3-4 years since COVID. They keep being a little bit more different each year, so it's not as big of a deal as it used to be, but it sounds like we'll at least have one guy for it.
Will Brock be the starter in training camp if he's healthy, or will there be a competition between him and Trey?
Things I haven't even thought about at all. So right now we're just working on coaches, and I think that stuff will play itself out by training camp.
I know this is hypothetical, but when you say you're content, those two guys, does that mean you would not be looking at signing a starter-level veteran at all, or?
I know we have 2 starters on our team right now that I believe we can win with. So when you have that situation, you're not that eager to go looking around.
These are 2 guys who are coming off of injuries, and one of them has been hurt previously. Isn't that a little bit of a risk when you have just gone through 4 quarterbacks?
It always is. But, first time, when the quarterback gets his arm bent backwards and stuff, I think anybody gets hurt from that. It's unfortunate when quarterbacks get hurt, but you try to have 3. Sometimes you bring 4 into camp, but I don't think we're going to start having 5 or anything like that. So Brock did a pretty good job being durable all year, and they got his elbow in an unfortunate situation, which I think has happened to a number of quarterbacks. Going back to, I don't know exactly, but even you look at Breeze, I don't know if that was shoulder or elbow that he did on the last play of the year. There's lots of situations like that, and you look at the recovery timeline, and the good thing, Stafford, I don't know if that was from an from an impact thing or if that just built up over time. But I know he went through some of that stuff last offseason that affected him a little bit into this year. But the good thing about Brock is that wasn't an issue. It was a freak accident that I think everyone saw what happened. And when you talk to the doctors, it takes 3 months to really get back to repairing it and building it up the right way. And in 6 months, he'll be the same guy.
Is there a scenario in which you guys could see Jimmy being back, and if so, what would that look like?
No, I don't see any scenario of that. Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Mentioned possibility of bringing back the third quarterback rule as the roster spot. I mean, they bring third quarterback. Is that something you, after what you guys went through Sunday, something you guys would be in favor of, or would it be helpful?
Yeah, I'd definitely be in favor of it. We were scared to death when that rule ended, whatever many years ago that was. But you kind of forget about it since you just don't see anyone have to go through it. But then you get reminded of football game's over once that happens. So I think that would be a very smart thing to have.
I think it'd be good for football. You know, you're always trying to develop these guys, but you're always weighing that, carrying 3 as opposed to the roster value of being able to host a full complement of position players at different positions. So I think if the league just kind of gave you an out there, everybody would be forced to do it. You got more people in camps improving. I think it'd be good for football.
We'll obviously add another or 2 quarterback. What's the profile of the kind of quarterback, whether veteran or draft or rookie undrafted? What's the profile of the guy that you want to come in here along with Trey and Brock?
The best available that can fit into the structure of our team and the salary cap and all that. But the best one available.
What were your guys' reactions when you saw that Tom Brady announced that he wasn't going to play any further for any other team?
Yeah, I just think respect, appreciation to one of the greatest players to ever play this game. And, you know, I'm always humbled by the fact that, you know, we work for an organization that I think touts some guys who fit into that category with Ronnie and Steve, Joe, Jerry, obviously, you know, that are in that conversation as well. But that's rarefied air. And, you know, I got to compete against him as a player. I got to broadcast games as a broadcaster. And now to see that he's still going, it just blows my mind what he's done. It's unparalleled, and I think he's one of the greats ever to do it. So respect and appreciation and admiration for an unbelievable career.
John, will you return to be the general manager in 2023?
I think so. You good, Kyle? No, I plan on being here. I really do, and I'm committed to doing this, and I'm having a great time doing it, and you know, committed to finding a way to get a little bit better. I'm real proud of what we were able to do this year. That's hard to say because our expectations and our standards were to win the whole thing. But I do think in life you have to be able to acknowledge that even when the end result isn't what you wanted, that some special things happen. I'm proud of the team we built. Can't say enough about the job Kyle and his coaching staff did. I've got a lot of respect for our players, the way they handle themselves. And it's hard to win a game in this league, let alone 12 straight. And unfortunately, on the last game, it just wasn't in the cards. And you know, I think that will always be there, that you know, this feeling. And first of all, let me just say it, all due respect to Philly. They're a fantastic football team, a really well-built team, and they came out and competed hard. But I'd love to be able to, you know, take them on, you know, with that same team we had, and be able to do it with a full complement and some other things. But that wasn't in the cards on that day, but I'll still look back on this season with fond memories. Now our challenge, and this is all fresh, we're doing closeout meetings, as Kyle said, dealing with coaches. You know, I'm upstairs with the position coaches doing what we call our mind meetings, where it's an exit interview where we take a holistic look at all our players. And so this is still very fresh. You know, but our job now is to find a way to get better, and there's challenges to that, but that's what we'll do. I'm committed to, and our ownership's committed, and Kyle and I are committed, finding a way to get better, and that's exactly what we plan on doing. It's just hard to conceptualize that because you're still stuck in this season, and you know, in due time we'll move forward.
If you're just joining us here on HQ, that is the Niners GM John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan talking about the quarterback situation this offseason. Shanahan saying he does not see a scenario which Jimmy Garoppolo is back with the Niners next season. Jimmy G recovering from an injury and then also set to hit free agency in March. He's also in this list here among Brock Purdy, who's looking at a 6-month recovery after tearing his UCL, and then Trey Lance, who was the starter at the beginning of the season, is rehabbing from his second ankle surgery. He's made 4 starts in 2 years. The Niners going 13-4 this season, ultimately losing to the Eagles in the NFC title game.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.